It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, yes, it is, and good Monday morning to you. You know, normally on Mondays, I say it's unmistakably Monday. But this Monday, you could probably mistake this Monday for, let's say, Sunday or maybe Saturday. But driving in from Alma this morning, I think I saw a total of maybe 10 cars. Maybe 10. Possibly 9. I don't know. But there was no traffic. At least about an hour ago, there wasn't any traffic at all. Because, of course, this is Memorial Day. So it seems more like a Sunday or a weekend day or something. But so it's kind of unusual for a Monday. So a lot of people have a 3-day weekend. Some people have a 4-day weekend. Let's say if you took Friday off and then the weekend and then Monday, you had a 4-day weekend. Or maybe the weekend and Monday and Tuesday or some variation thereof. So not a whole bunch of traffic out there. And this is a very, very important day. Probably one of the most important in America, in our country. And after the 4th of July, I guess, it's Memorial Day. You know, you've heard all gave some and some gave all. Well, on this day, we honor those who gave all. And I was doing a little research on the history of Memorial Day. And I thought it'd be easy, but boy, it's a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. It's pretty complicated. The bottom line is, on this day, we honor those who have died in the service of their country. And this kind of interesting fact, more than 1 million people have died defending our country and our allies over the years, starting with the Revolutionary War. And guess which war claimed more American lives than any other? And the answer is the Civil War. 1861, 1865. More Americans died, both Northerners and Southerners, because they were all Americans. So more Americans died in the Civil War than in any other war, and that includes World War II. More than 600,000 soldiers died in the Civil War. Now, when you think of that, isn't that odd? I mean, isn't that really strange? Americans killed more Americans in the Civil War than were killed by other countries in other wars. Do you remember the comic strip The Pogo in the 1950s and 60s? A very famous comic strip. Walt, what was the name? Walt Kelly was the cartoonist. And it was a bunch of little swamp critters in Okefenokee Swamp. And the lead character in this cartoon was Pogo, and he was a possum. And in one famous comic strip in the 1960s, he said, "We have met the enemy, and he is us." That was what Pogo said in that one strip. And it is kind of interesting that nobody has been able to beat us. Nobody has been able to beat us, but we did a pretty good job of it in the Civil War. But since then, there has been all kinds of wars. And before then, there were all kinds of wars. And we've lost a lot of people, a lot of really, really good people, real good people. And this is a day to honor them and their sacrifice. And I was speaking with someone yesterday, and the topic came up. How do you on Christmas, you say, Merry Christmas, right? Or even if you want to really stretch it, Happy Holidays, okay, fine, Merry Christmas. Or Happy New Year. Or Happy 4th of July. What do you say on Memorial Day? To say Happy Memorial Day, I guess it's okay to be happy. I mean, really, but you can't say Happy Memorial Day. And yet then where do you go? You can't say Somber Memorial Day or Contemplative Memorial Day. So what do you say other than it's Memorial Day? So there's really no greeting on Memorial Day. Now, as I said, it's okay to be happy, I guess. I mean, it is, but certainly, So maybe as we're going about our activities this weekend, or, yesterday and Saturday, or maybe this afternoon, maybe you're going to have a barbecue, or maybe you're at a lake, or you're going to go to the lake, or you're going to do something a little out of the ordinary. It's really the unofficial start of summer. So before you do that, just give a thought to all those people who died in defense of our country. So having done that, then I think we're at liberty to be happy, okay? So just first remember why we have this day, why we remember those who died, right? So after you do that, then you could be happy. It's okay if you're happy. It's perfectly okay. Because I'm sure the people who have sacrificed their lives would say, yeah, it's okay. Be happy. That's why we were out here, to give us the freedom to have the country we do, So, yeah. Okay, let me see now. Oh, yes, that's right. Hold it. The Hornell American Legion Memorial Day Parade starts this morning at 9:30, and those who take part will line up near the East Main Street Bridge by 9 o'clock, so it'll be in about an hour from now, a little under an hour. And that will start at 9:30, and then after that, that'll be a ceremony at the Veterans Monument on the Broadway Mall. So that's going on in Hornell. Now, a little bit of the background here. On Memorial Day, I said, well, this should be fairly simple. I guess not. This is from the Washington Post. And I'm going to quote here. In July of 1866, a New York newspaper reported on a grand gathering of Union veterans in Salem, Illinois. General John A. Logan, head of the group the Grand Army of the Republic, made a speech railing against the defeated Confederates and urging rights and protections for freed slaves. Okay? He noted angrily that, quote, traitors in the South have their gatherings day after day to strew garlands of flowers upon the graves of rebel soldiers. He was bothered by reports that in towns across the South, women were decorating the graves of dead Confederates. So 2 years later, he proposed the same idea. On May 5th, 1868, Logan ordered the first nationwide public holiday on May 30th, then known as Decoration Day, to honor war dead. A national day honoring American men and women who have died while serving in the military has been observed ever since. Now, officially, Memorial Day started in Waterloo, New York. And that's according to a 1966 law signed by President Lyndon Johnson. And there was definitely a local observance of the war dead there in 1866. But there's no evidence Logan was inspired by or even aware of Waterloo's observance when he pitched his plan. Contemporaneous coverage doesn't credit Waterloo either. In 1868, the New York Times said, "The ladies of the South instituted this Memorial Day. They wished to annoy the Yankees, and now the Grand Army of the Republic in retaliation and from no worthier motive have determined to annoy them by adopting their plan of commemoration." So if the South had their gatherings day after day, as Logan once complained, who in the South started it? And the answer to that is complicated, according to the Department of Veterans Affairs. There are more than 24 cities, mostly in the South, that claim to be the birthplace of Memorial Day. We have Macon, Georgia, Richmond, Virginia, Columbus, Mississippi, and a few others. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, there's no evidence. There's no evidence, however, that this led to others or was more than a one-day event, or just a one-off event. So most recently, historians have argued that who did it first isn't what's supposedly important. It's who originated the celebrations Logan learned about and was annoyed by and subsequently co-opted. That's the thesis of a 2014 book, The Genesis of the Memorial Day Holiday in America, and the authors are Daniel Bellware and Richard Gardner. They trace it back to a woman named Mary Ann Williams in another city named Columbus in Georgia. In March of 1866, she sent an open letter to newspapers saying that women in her area had been cleaning and decorating the graves of our gallant Confederate dead. That's in quotes. But that they thought it is an unfinished work unless a day be set apart annually for its special attention. She suggested April 26th, and that's the day General Joseph Johnston of the South surrendered the Army of Tennessee near Durham, North Carolina. Well, okay, the letter was picked up in papers across the South, and arrangements were made in a number of towns and cities, Belware and Gardner said. In Mississippi, they got the date wrong, celebrating a day earlier, thus its claim of being the birthplace of Memorial Day. Well, anyway, so, it was a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Nonetheless, it was in 1966 that President Johnson, in his official proclamation or law or something, said that it started in Waterloo, New York. So there we are. And that's the history of Memorial Day. And it was, as I said, just a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And speaking of Memorial Day, you've heard, of course, of the Rolling Thunder. Okay, Rolling Thunder. After a 3-decade run, the veteran group will hold its last motorcycle demonstration ride called Rolling Thunder in the U.S. Capitol this Memorial Day weekend. So that was this past weekend. 30 years this has been going on. And the nonprofit that organizes the rally, Rolling Thunder Incorporated, was founded in the late 1980s to bring public attention to prisoners of war and those MIAs, missing in action, and to hold the government to account for veterans who never made it home. Great idea. Absolutely great idea. We have a friend of ours who's in Rolling Thunder. And matter of fact, he's in Washington this weekend. So I guess this being, about 8:15 Monday, he might be on his way home now. I don't know. Let me see. The group's New England regional liaison, we signed basically a blank check that said, I'll give you up to and including my life to defend our Constitution and defend the American freedoms. Doc Stewart, the group's New England regional liaison, told NPR, that's right, I'll go anywhere for news, even NPR, that's right. But the return is you're going to ensure that I come home afterwards. So every year, hundreds of thousands of motorcyclists converge near the Pentagon outside Washington and then rumble through the city's downtown. And if you've heard thousands of motorcycles in one spot, you know it sounds like Rolling Thunder. That's exactly what it sounds like. However, this might be the last year because, and get this, it's money. It's money. The main reason the organizers gave for calling it quits is financial. It costs them about $200,000. It was $200,000 last year to hold a rally. A lot of that money went to the Pentagon for things like security, toilets, and parking lot use, according to Rolling Thunder president Joe Bean. So a spokesman for the Pentagon says we're still all in favor of it, but you need these permits and fees and all that stuff. So the group says, well, $200,000 seems a little steep. And also, and now this is in quotes, this is Doc Stewart again. He said the amount of money that we put on for the one demonstration ride, we could probably help a lot more veterans with it. That's a good point. $200,000 is a lot of money, and it could help a lot of veterans do a whole bunch of stuff. So next year, the group plans to hold smaller rides at its chapters across the United States. And Stewart further said, we're not done. We do not have full accountability yet. So apparently Rolling Thunder is going to be like no more. Or it will be, only that it'll be slightly smaller local events, which is probably a good deal, I think. Because unless you happen to be in Washington, D.C., you really don't have the impact of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of motorcycles in one spot, So it's probably a good idea. So that's what they're going to do with Rolling Thunder. And as I said, that's been going on for 30 years. That's a long-standing event. And it's always held on Memorial Day, of course. We are going to take a break. and we will be right back.
New to golf or seasoned veteran, you'll enjoy the casual, relaxed atmosphere of Vanderview Golf Course. 2 miles from downtown Alfred on Waterwells Road, Vanderview is a 9-hole executive-length golf course with a driving range on one side of the road and the course on the other. Family-friendly and fun recreation for everyone. Greens fees are one price for unlimited play, $9.50. High school students, only $5. Children 12 and under with an adult, no charge. You can play up to 18 holes or 9 holes with a cart and get the second 9 holes at no additional charge. Ladies and senior golfers who don't hit the long ball, Vanderview's got the executive length that's just right for your game. And new this year, a season pass for only $100. That's a lot of golfing fun for a very little bit of money. Vanderview Golf Course, 2 miles from downtown Alfred on Waterwells Road. Vanderview Golf Course.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Brian Fenley.
Two-time Grand Slam champion Petra Kvitova has pulled out of the French Open with an arm injury. American and 32 seed Frances Tiafoe is trailing Filip Krajinovic 5-2 in the first set of their first round match in Roland Garros. Meantime, Martin Truex Jr. takes the checkers at the Coca-Cola 600 for the second time in 4 years. He got over a flat tire and clung on to the lead after a late restart. Simon Pagenaud wins the Indianapolis 500. Here's his reaction.
It's hard to believe right now, to be honest with you. It's been such an intense race. I believe we led most of the race, so the car was just on rail. The yellows came out perfectly. Stars are aligned, so man, wow, I'm seeing myself on TV with this. Pretty amazing.
It sure is, isn't it? Baseball from Sunday, the Dodgers shipwrecked the Pirates 11-7. Justin Turner marveled with 5 hits.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles,
The Ryan Agencies, your local, independent insurance agencies. Online insurance companies don't know the unique needs of our rural community. The Ryan Agency meets rural needs every day. Local insurance experts offering realistic solutions. Contact the Ryan Agencies today. Good local people offering realistic insurance solutions.
Insurance protection you can rely on. The Ryan Agency.
From the Fox Business Network, Impossible Foods, whose veggie burgers are being tested at Burger King, is also trying out breakfast sausage at Tim Hortons in Canada, and it's launching a test of a meatless sausage pizza at some Little Caesars locations. COO David Lee says it's not just for vegans.
90+% of the people who keep coming back for this Impossible Burger, they're coming because they're meat eaters who want that craveability that hits the spot. But they want to feel better about their health. They want to feel better about the impact they're having on the world.
He says plant-based protein is better for the environment.
The Impossible Burger is made entirely out of plants, which means it uses a fraction of the world's resources, a fraction of the amount of water. It produces, I think, 1/8 of the greenhouse gases you would get from a burger from a cow.
The markets are closed for the Memorial Day holiday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's the Memorial Day Mega Sale. With over 15 million windows covered and more than 30,000 5-star customer reviews, Blinds.com is America's #1 choice. Every order gets free samples, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to Blinds.com now to transform your home at the lowest prices of the year. Save up to 50% site-wide. Plus, listeners save an extra $20 with promo code LIGHTS. Blinds.com, promo code LIGHTS. Rules and restrictions apply.
Okay, and back we are. If you were listening during the break, I hope, what's her name? I don't remember what her name is. But anyway, she was talking about these meatless hamburgers and meatless, I don't know, sausages or something. There was an article, this is just another sign that is the end times are coming. I mean, this is pretty clear to me that the end times are coming because there was a story on top of that in yesterday's edition of The Spectator. Will this vegan hot dog sizzle? A vegan hot dog. Now, we already have vegan hamburgers, and we have, what's it called, tofurkey or something, which I first heard of about 18 years ago or 17 years. Turkey made out of tofu, which is like, I'm telling you, it's unnatural. That's just my opinion, but I think that's not the way things ought to be. So this company where are they? I think they're in Europe or something. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to read this. This is from the Washington Post. It's the sort of boast that starts bar fights. A vegan hot dog launched in London on May 10th, quote, is identical to its pork counterpart in taste, smell, and texture, its creators claim, but doesn't live up to the billing. Now, this guy who's writing this article says it looks like a hot dog, and it kind of looks like a hot dog from the photograph in the paper there. Yeah, it kind of looks like a hot dog. It smells like a hot dog. But I don't care. You don't make hot dogs out of vegetable matter. I'm sorry. This hot dog is made of, let me see. A diverse range of base ingredients, including soy protein, falafel, pea protein, sunflower seeds, coconut oil, and who knows what all else. They just kind of rake it out of their garden or rake it off their lawn and put them in this stuff. This is bizarre. The hot dog is entirely plant-based. That's not the way God intended, okay? A hot dog is a hot dog. It's not made from anything other than hot dog material or something. So this crazy hot dog is entirely plant-based. And while, as I said, judging by the photograph here, it kind of looks like a hot dog. But they take all this stuff and they smash it into a paste, and then they shape it sort of like a hot dog. But there's no, I don't know. He does say, the guy who was, who is this guy anyway? I don't know. He's founder of Moving Mountains. It's a company behind this atrocity. He says they're nutritious, it's good for you. It's high in B-complex vitamins, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, calcium, potassium, vitamin E, and protein. Except it's all, I don't know. He says, let me see, what else here? You can have, it's 146 calories. Each 10-inch, 5.5-ounce Frankfurter, please, allegedly, clocks in at 146 calories and is gluten-free. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I like my food full of gluten. I think the more gluten, the better, okay? More gluten, more GMO. As a matter of fact, I don't even care about the Frankfurter. Just give me a plate full of gluten and GMOs, and I'm happy. The more, the better. That's the way I look at things. So this is unnatural, and to try to spread this stuff across the this is awful. How can you call it a hot? They also have vegan hamburgers or something, and the whole thing is really weird. As I said, it's a sign that the end is coming. And if the end is coming, I'd rather sit and watch it eating a real hot dog, okay, rather than a vegan hot dog. That's totally unnatural. Okay, I guess that's it. I will see you tomorrow, 8:05. Bye.